Welcome back into WCTV Senior Spotlights. I've already been here for 3 of them, Brock Owens, Caleb Yager, and Tony Grillo. Now today I'm joined by Silas Mays. Silas, thank you for joining me up here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So we're going to talk about your time here at Waynesburg, but before coming to Waynesburg, obviously being in high school, everybody goes through the same application process. What was yours like, and was Waynesburg the top option always, or did it kind of sneak in there?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I ran track and cross country, and so I was kind of looking at places to run, and Waynesburg, I had the coach of the team here reach out to me, and so I started talking with him a little bit. And it seemed like the front runner, and then at the end of my senior year, I started running like really well in track, so I had a couple other schools like right at the end kind of reach out to me. So I went and looked at all those schools, went and visited a few down in like South Carolina, places like that, but they just felt, I don't know, it didn't feel right when I went there, so I kept coming back to Waynesburg and eventually landed on this as the place to be, and I'm glad I did.
So as a digital design major, we have tons of great professors up here in the communication department, but who would you say would have been the most helpful or even maybe the most influential during your 4 years here at Waynesburg?
Yeah, I love all of our professors, honestly. I think they all do a great job. I know Professor Chad Sherman, he's not here anymore, but he was here for 3 out of the 4 years of my career as digital design, and I just think he was amazing. He was really helpful, really smart, knew what he was talking about. He was always willing to lend a helping hand, and he just kind of like sparked my enthusiasm for design a little bit. Just seeing what he was able to do and how he was able to teach it really made me want to pursue design. So I think that he played a big role.
So during the time here, obviously you have a lot of work with doing design, being the digital design major that you are. Is there any work that you've done here during your time that you're super proud of, like perhaps growing from freshman to senior year?
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a ton of standout content, but even just this year, taking a few classes, like a lot of the video work that I've done, I feel like has significantly improved from where I started, and video is something that I actually have kind of found a love for in the last couple months. So I think that from freshman year has really grown, and I feel like I'm proud of some of that work that I've done in the recent months. So yeah.
So you just had your internship presentation. You mentioned that you've been working for Carvana for quite a few years. Talk a little bit about your internship and then kind of give your future after Waynesburg, being that we spoke a little bit before this that you plan on continuing to work for Carvana.
Yeah, so the internship was great. I actually did it with my church over the summer, and this was something that I kind of wrestled with because, like you mentioned, I've been working for Carvana for so many years. I just, anticipated that I would do an internship with them. Why not, right? But I kept praying about it, and I felt like I wanted to do it with my church, and that's what I was hearing. So that's what I ended up doing this summer, and I'm really glad that I did. I did a lot of design work, a lot of video content, social media content, and did some stuff on the website as well, some redesigning on the website. So that was kind of what the summer consisted of for me. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being close to home. That was nice. I was able to be involved with my family and stuff. So that was really fun. And I guess, the next couple months, the near future, I'm just going to stay with Carvana like we talked about. I guess the ultimate goal would be to be on like their marketing team at some point, maybe do some design work for them, whether that be, maybe their website restructuring or helping out, keeping their website up to date or some social media stuff with them. So I think that's what the near future looks like, and that would be really exciting. So, yeah.
So you talked about with your internship that you're able to stay close with your family, your parents actually, you mentioned in your presentation were your bosses during this internship. Do you think there's going to be a little bit of a challenge perhaps transitioning from your parents being your boss to having the boss with Carvana, or do you think you're going to be pretty comfortable either way?
Yeah, I think there will be some challenges just because I feel like there always are when you're transitioning into a more professional workspace rather than maybe just having your family as your bosses. But I also think the fact that I've been there for, about 5 years at Carvana, is going to make the transition a little easier because I'm really well acquainted with my bosses there already. You know, they know me, and so I don't think there's a ton of there's not really a gap or anything. I think if I was just starting to work there in the next month, then yeah, it would be a little difficult. But I've been there for so long that I feel pretty comfortable with my bosses there. So, yeah.
So you talked about Chad Sherman earlier. Obviously, he's no longer here anymore in the Waynesburg communication department. We have a ton of great professors still up here. Professor Schiffbauer, Lanny Fratteri, Melinda. If you had to talk about one professor, perhaps maybe some advice they gave you during your time here, what would you say one piece of advice that really stuck out to you was?
Yeah, you know, I think that Professor Schiffbauer was my advisor. So her and I had a nice relationship. You know, she was able to kind of help mentor me along in my collegiate career. And so I don't know, she would just always say to, make sure you get involved. I feel like especially in the comm department, that's a big deal for us. Being involved in all the different areas can really just help build a lot of your skills as a comm major. So I think that that's something that I really appreciated about a lot of the professors, not just one in particular, but all of the professors. I feel like encourage us to get involved in the things that happen in the department. So that's what I would say.
So you talked about going to Carvana, obviously continuing to work there after Waynesburg. Taking that advice of trying to get your hands dirty, get working right away, what kind of things did you want to look forward to doing after Waynesburg with Carvana? Is there anything specific within digital design that you want to try and implement to the Carvana website, as you mentioned, marketing team, anything like that?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it a ton. Like I mentioned earlier, video content is something that has started to become a little more enjoyable to me. So, maybe looking into some areas where I can use videography a little bit in the company. You know, I haven't really looked at a ton of places that it has been used, but I know like on the website and social media, there's a lot of video content. So I think that would be really cool just to do that for them and be able to help stay relevant and modern, you know. So I think that would be really fun.
So I asked you about some advice your professors have given you, but I want to ask you, moving forward into the future, obviously you will be graduated after this semester. What's some advice that you give to a college student or should I say a high school student coming into college? What's one piece of advice you would give them? Not necessarily communication major or digital design, but just in general life advice you would give someone.
So again, like I'm going to just echo the professors. I think obviously it is important to get involved. I think that's a great way to make friends, right? I think that's a big fear of a lot of high school students coming into college is like, oh, am I going to make friends? So I think getting involved in a lot of activities, not just comm department like we talked about, just in general across campus, it's a fantastic way to make friends. But then I guess another like really big thing that I would say is how important professionalism is, you know? I feel like that really goes a long way, and that's something that the older I get, the more I realize, because maybe when you come into college, you don't realize how important that is, but as you're nearing the end and you're about to find a job, you're like, I'm very grateful for a lot of the professionalism I've been taught, and so I think that that's an important skill to sharpen over the 4 years here, you know?
And just to kind of wrap things up, you talked a little bit about your faith earlier in the interview. How big of an impact did coming to Waynesburg have on your faith and growing your connection with God and everything of that sort?
I think it had a huge impact. When I was coming out of high school, I think my faith was in a really shaky area, and I didn't have like the greatest friends to encourage that faith. And I think when I got to Waynesburg, I was able to really find some people that shared the same, passion and desire for Christianity and faith, and I think that was really special. And some of my best friends are just the people from day one, that I was maybe doing Bible studies with, or I just got to know really well, and we could talk about deep things and things that we all wrestled with. And so I think it was really, I think it was really beneficial coming to Waynesburg, just having that atmosphere around me that I was able to talk to people and get to know people, and so I think that was special for sure.
So Silas, I appreciate you sitting up here with me, getting to break down a little bit of your time here at Waynesburg, but that's all we have for this Senior Spotlight here on WCTV. Stay tuned for our final Fall 2022 graduate, where I will sit down with Joel Zellum.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.